Hey guys, and welcome to yet another ST gaming video, and this time we're going to take a look at another arcade conversion, Robotron 2084, published by Atari in 1987. So a rather early game. And I had no idea up until quite recently that there was a version of Robotron for the ST. And this game is of course based on the arcade game by Eugene Jarvis and Larry DeMar, published by Williams Electronics in 1982. And this is definitely one of my all-time favorite arcade games, even though I never got to play it as a kid. This game is just a little bit too early for me to encounter in the arcades back in the day. Not that there were that many around here anyway, but I played it a ton in the late 90s when I discovered MAME. It's a really enjoyable twin-stick shooter that is really tough. It's tough as nails with balls attached to them of steel. And I never got particularly good at it, but I still had a great time playing it. And it's basically you shooting the crap out of tons and tons of robots that want to murder you and the last family on Earth, which seems to be a pretty big family because there's tons and tons of humans that you need to save. Super simple stuff, but it gets really hard. It's one of those games where you just need to rack up those extra lives as early as you can on the easier levels, because the game will quite often put you in situations where you have no choice but to suffer a loss of one of your precious lives. You will just have to sell that life as expensively as possible and take as many robots with you as you possibly can. And as I mentioned, this is a twin-stick shooter, so you've got one joystick to control the direction you're moving and one to control the direction you're firing. And many people believe that this was the first game to use this type of controls, but that's not true. There's at least one other arcade game that uses twin-stick controls. I don't remember which one though at the moment. So this game is a bit tricky to convert to a home system where you only have one fire button and one controller, but there is actually an option in the ST version where you can use two joysticks, and I'm going to try that out. So let's dive into Robotron 2084 on the Atari ST. Oh, well, they captured the title screen pretty nicely, although it's a lot more quiet than the arcade game, because that game is super noisy and got some really cool sound effects, like typical Eugene Jarvis stuff. And a pretty cool thing with the ST version is that you can press F4 to have one or two joysticks. You can simulate a twin stick control setup, which is pretty cool. We're going to try and do that. But first, I'm just going to do it with one joystick. And I did play this a bit, and let me tell you, it's not easy. It's really super hard because you're firing in the direction you're moving. And I think that's the only way you can do it with one joystick. But let's press F1 and try it out. So here we have the hero running around saving the last family on Earth, and yes, I missed saving dad in the family there. So you need to save the kids. Oh yeah, you can't stand still on fire. I thought that for a moment. It is really super difficult getting this done with the controls I have right now, which is basically me firing in the direction I'm moving, and it's super difficult because you take quite large steps, and I'm guessing I'm going to be annihilated in absolutely no time. Yes, it's super difficult. Let's try that one more time. It's a shame they didn't use sample sound effects. They really didn't capture the sounds that well. I mean, it sounds alright, don't get me wrong, it sounds pretty cool. But let's just save the family here. The largest family on Earth. It does sound a little bit weak. The arcade version is really super noisy and got some really cool sound effects that really make the experience more enjoyable, unless you want to get a good nap, because forget about it. Oops, I don't know what's up with the joystick. I think there is something weird going on with the joystick interface, because sometimes it just stops moving. I think I will have to have a look into that, because I'm using one of those USB to standard joystick adapters, and sometimes it just doesn't work. I don't know why, and I think it's mostly in the ST emulator, so strange. Could be something to do with my joystick, I suppose, as well. I'm not really sure. But let's try this with two joysticks. I'm going to be using my joystick and the keyboard, the directional keys on the keyboard, to try and control this. This is going to be interesting, but it's going to be more easy, hopefully. Yeah, this is weird. This feels super weird, but it works tons better. So I control the direction using the joystick, and I'm firing using the cursor keys. Yeah, this is not a bad, oh god, a bad conversion at all. It looks very nice. It looks completely right. Sound effects are, of course, not as great, but I didn't really expect that. I kind of had hope that they would use samples, but oh damn, it's hard doing this. I need to reposition my oh god. Yeah, it's still pretty hard, but it's a lot easier doing with two like twin stick setups. And if you had two joysticks and maybe if you taped them onto your desk, then yeah, this would be a lot easier. But I don't have any tape right here, so let's try it again. And of course there is a better version of Robotron, which is basically Jeff Minter's Llamatron, which was absolutely amazing, which is one of those, which is a super noisy game, and I really had fun with that one. That one is actually better than this one, I have to admit, although it's not strictly speaking Robotron. It's really something else, and damn, this is hard. Sound effects aren't bad, they're pretty good. It's just, it's not what I had hoped for. Oh god, please don't murder me. Alright then, do murder me. I wonder when you get extra lives here. I don't remember if it's like 25,000 points in the arcade. Seems like it's certainly easier to get extra lives. Oh, brainwave. In the arcade than it is here. It really is quite tricky. Okay, come on. Yeah, what was I saying? I'm trying to think and talk and play at the same time, which I'm terribly bad at. Yeah, sound effects aren't terrible. They're pretty decent. But again, I would have preferred sampled noises. Oh, please die, you awful thing. I don't know what they are called, but they're super annoying. Those things that bounce all over the place. Yeah, don't expect me to get super far in this one. Controls are just too damn tricky. I'm holding my joystick down at the same time as I'm trying to move different directions, and it's not working superbly great. But again, if you had a way of getting your sticks taped onto the desk, that would probably be making things a little bit more easy. Oh, not sure how I survived that. But yeah, again, solid conversion. It really is rather good. I mean, it's Robotron. What can I say? A bit of a shame that I didn't know about this one back in the day, but this was early days, so yeah. I couldn't even find any reviews for it anywhere, so yeah, it's probably because it was released already in '87 and there weren't too many SD magazines around. There might still be a review somewhere, of course, like in computer and video games, something like that. Oh god, that's a bit crowded, isn't it? But I couldn't find any. And I certainly don't remember reading about this game or seeing any ads or anything like that anywhere back in the day. Yeah, this will probably be a pretty short video because, as I said, couldn't find any reviews of the game, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing it for too much longer because it's going to get pretty boring watching me getting trounced by these evil robots that are trying to murder me, and more importantly, the last family on Earth. There's a storyline about some sort of apocalyptic event that kills off everyone except this humongous family that consists of mum, dad, and about 1 million copies of them, or clones, and the kid, of course, whatever his name is. Don't know if these guys have names. I didn't really read the manual when I played this in MAME back in the 90s. I'm not even sure there's too much of a story behind it. I'm sure there's something you can read in the arcade flyer, which I haven't read yet, which tells you all about this, the backstory to this game, which is basically just shoot the crap out of robots and don't do that that I just did there. I think this game got some pretty good home conversions on quite a lot of different systems. It's supposed to be a Spectrum version I've heard of that's supposed to be really, really good. It was never released, but it was supposed to be really excellent. And again, the joystick stopped responding there. Why? It just froze up, if you maybe noticed that. That's not supposed to happen because I'm pressing the directions on the stick here. Ah, yes. Yeah, that's the end of me. Alright guys, I think we're gonna end it here. I don't think you want to watch me die over and over and over again for a very long time, and to be honest, I'd rather play the arcade version in main. But yeah, definitely not a bad conversion. I would have been completely okay with this back in the day. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed Robotron 2084 on the ST. And of course, also a huge thank you to all my patrons for supporting me. Cheers!